Welcome to KKM, episode number 4. Hi! Hi! Os. Hey, wait a minute. What happened to my hair? Hi! Os. Konnichiwa. Wait a minute. I feel different. What is this madness that's going on? Hey there. Os. Konnichiwa. Welcome back. It's time for imagining kanji images. Let's see. Kanji. Yes, kanji in Japanese. Let's see it from English to Japanese. Shall we begin? KKM. Karate. Kanji. Madness. Episode number 4. Good and evil. Good and evil. Written in calligraphy. Note, Japanese calligraphy is called shodo. It's also called shuji, and they are both a form of artistic writing. See also episode 9 for do, found in dojo. This is Karate Kanji Madness with me, Sensei Ray Snyder. Episode number 4 is Learning to Recognize Good and Evil, the kanji for good and evil. Disclaimer. Note, in these Karate Kanji Madness lessons, the subject of stroke order is not discussed. The attempt here is only to make the kanji images more recognizable in a fun way, especially to martial arts students who are particularly interested in Japan. Note, learning how to correctly write the stroke order of kanji is a whole separate area of study. It's important and it involves knowing the correct direction and order, but you can find many videos and articles online to teach you stroke order and how to write kanji if you're interested. Note, I'm a gaijin, a foreigner, a non-native person, an outsider. The word is composed of two kanji being gai, which means outside, and jin, which means person. I love Japan and its people, but I'm not Japanese, and I never will be. I understand that. That's fine. That's okay. I appreciate Japan, its people, and its culture. As we are going to look at the kanji and talk about it for good and evil, think about the fact that a true martial artist seeks to defend, protect, and uplift that which is good, and to defend against and defeat that which is evil. Will you be able to recognize good and evil? Will you defend what is good? As we begin talking about good and evil, look at the two textbook quality images for the word good, the kanji for good, and the word for evil. Zen to aku. Zen to aku no tame no kanji. Let's get started. Good and evil, like night and day. Good and evil. Picture on the left a bright, beautiful, inviting blue sky on a beautiful, clear day. Looking at the right, think of a dark, overcast, dreary landscape for the word evil. Here are some little guys. One's happy, one's not so happy. One's good, one's evil. Beginning to morph in the face of the good person and the bad person are the respective kanji for each. And here we're going to look briefly at the kanji written in calligraphy form for good and evil. Let's look at good. On top is the symbol for sheep or beautiful or fine or praiseworthy. They're all positive. Picture in your mind a beautiful horizon with a promise of a bright future. The bottom portion is a combination of stand and opening, or mouth. I like to visualize this kanji as meaning something beautiful to stand up for, something good and worthwhile and positive to talk about. Let's look at evil. On the dark side, I see an oppressive device to keep one's heart down, the lower barren regions of one's mind or heart. On the bottom is the symbol for heart. I see something dark and oppressive in this kanji. A heart is being oppressed by a force of evil. I've drawn the following cartoons to share with you. This is how I remember the images in my mind of these two very different kanji. I hope it helps you to remember also. So Zen, good. I think of a beautiful, good sheep standing on a platform with an opening below it. The sheep is hoping to have good things placed inside of the box. And look at the right, and you can see sheep and stand and opening. Note, look closely at the three individual kanji to the right of the cartoon, which is, again, making this one single kanji, Zen. See the sheep, see the stand, and see the opening, and try to repeat it in your mind over and over several times so that it'll stick. Now, look at the kanji for evil, aku. This kanji looks like pressure is being placed on top of the heart, pushing down on it by an evil demon. Heart is shown in the far bottom left, the kanji for the heart. It's got 3 parts to it. And to remember this kanji, remember to save your heart from evil. But oh no, look at the poor heart. It's being pressed down mercilessly. Now that you've learned the kanji for both good and evil, here's an example of both written in a decorative script. Personally, I think it's like trying to read a doctor's handwriting. But look carefully and see if you can pick out the kanji you've learned in this lesson. Can you see it? Now that we've been learning the kanji for good and evil, I put a slide in here which is just a fun fact. In the center of the slide, you can see highlighted as good and evil. Good is in yellow, evil is in red. And in America, we have idioms that we use. What an idiom is it's a little saying like, oh, I don't know, beating around the bush, you got your back up against the wall, scraping the barrel, money doesn't grow on trees, keep an ear to the ground, etc. There are hundreds of them you've probably heard, and it might come to mind. In Japan, Japanese have idioms too, but they're 4-character idioms, and they're popular sayings, and they're written only in kanji. Only kanji is shown on the slide. They don't use the hiragana or katakana from their writing language. And again, an idiom is used as a phrase. So a saying below is an example that uses good and bad, since we've been learning good and bad. And this one means poetic justice, or to reward good and punish evil, or to instruct and entertain. Here's the same random idiom from Japan that's used, and you should be able to pick out the second and fourth kanji character, the good and the evil. Looking at the same ones again, now we haven't studied all 4 of these, but just for fun looking at it, the first kanji is encourage, the second is good, which you've been looking at, the third is punish, and fourth is evil, which you've been looking at. So you're going to encourage good and punish evil in this idiom. Now that we've looked at this idiom, imagine that the kanji is being moved and it's going to be written vertically. So again, the top kanji, advise, persuade, encourage, Just FYI, it takes 13 strokes to write this one. The next one is good, beautiful, full of goodness. That's the one that we've learned in this lesson. Next is punish, discipline, or chastise. And finally, evil, evil or bad or false or a bad habit or wrong. The following are random examples of Japanese sentences which contain either the kanji for good or the kanji for bad. Note, the sentences are written in kanji, katakana, and hiragana. But first, an additional note. If you happen to search for the kanji for good, you will probably find the result, which reads and looks like this, shown in green. But don't be surprised. This is also a kanji and it's used for good. I'll try to explain on the next slide. The kanji that's shown in this episode number 4 for good is the kanji that's used for ethical and moral situations. Note, there are other ways to write good in Japanese. For example, all of the following also mean good, shown in green, blue, yellow, brown color, and a light blue. Note, the differences between all of these are as follows. All of the words are read as good, but they have different meanings. So the first one in yellow, what we've used for good and evil, this is good for something that's morally correct or ethical. The green, and you'll see that in the sentences to follow, is used for people and things and when they're better than others. Comparison. So, and then the rest read human nature and state of things that are good, an abbreviation for good, which represents an acceptable range. The one shown in red, something happily or something good happens. And last one, things and people are clean and beautiful in shape. This is a busy slide, but really all I'm trying to show here is, for example, the top 3 sentences where you should be able to recognize in red the kanji for evil. The bottom shows 2 kanji that we really haven't dealt with in detail at all, but it's also another symbol for good. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Presenting a lesson gives me an opportunity to research kanji and present information which is interesting to me and I hope interesting to you. Look for other lessons. Your support is motivating to me to help me to create more. Matane, see ya. The end of episode 4. If you saw the t-shirt with this on it, could you read it? If you saw the t-shirt with this on it, could you read it? See the KKM website for more information and more details. Tell my students matane because I hope to see them again. Matane means see ya, and we say that instead of long-term sayonara, which means we may or may not see you again.